My beloved brothers and sisters, do you know that there is a surah in the Quran that has been described as the heart of the Quran, a surah that carries within it the essence of faith, the reality of the hereafter, the lessons of those before us, the signs of Allah around us, and the promise of mercy and intercession for those who recite it. Many of us have recited it countless times, some of us have memorized it, but how many of us have actually stopped to ask, why is this surah so special? What makes it the heart of the Quran? What message is Allah sending directly to me and you through these verses? Today, my brothers and sisters, I want you to open your hearts and minds, because as we journey through this surah together, you will realize that it is not just about words on a page. It is about life, death, and eternity. And if you stay with me till the end, by the will of Allah, your connection with Surah Yaseen will never be the same again. My brothers and sisters, when the scholars mention that Surah Yaseen is the heart of the Quran, they are teaching us something very deep, something that touches every aspect of our lives, because just as the heart pumps blood and life to every part of the body, Surah Yaseen pumps faith, conviction, hope, and reflection into every corner of our soul. It is not about simply reciting the surah without thinking. Rather, it is about realizing that in these verses Allah has placed reminders of His oneness, His mercy, His power, His ability to resurrect, His signs in creation, His stories of those before us, and His warning of accountability, all of which strike directly at the heart of a believer. If you think about it, the Quran has hundreds of lessons spread across its chapters, but Surah Yaseen brings together the essence of these lessons in a way that speaks to the core of who we are as human beings. It speaks about the Quran being a revelation filled with wisdom. It shows us the bravery of a man who stood up to defend the messengers against a whole city. It points out the sun, the moon, the alternation of night and day. It draws our attention to the crops we plant, the water we drink, the life we live, and the death we will take. And it tells us that these are not coincidences but signs of a Lord who deserves to be worshipped. It challenges the arrogance of those who deny the hereafter by reminding them that the one who created them from a drop of fluid is surely able to bring them back to life. And it comforts the believer by promising that Jannah is waiting for those who live with faith and obedience. So when the Prophet ﷺ described it as the heart of the Quran, it is because this surah has the power to revive a dead heart. It has the ability to turn a person who is heedless into someone who cries at the remembrance of Allah. It shakes us awake from the illusion that this life is permanent, and it reminds us that success is not in how wealthy we are or how powerful we are, but in whether our hearts are alive with the remembrance of Allah, whether we have recognized His signs, whether we are prepared for the day we return to Him. And this is why so many Muslims, when they recite Surah Yaseen, feel a certain sweetness, a certain connection, a certain stirring inside the chest, because the heart of the Quran is designed to speak directly to the heart of the believer. My brothers and sisters, when we look at Surah Yaseen and we see how Allah reminds us of the afterlife, it is not a mere mention, it is a deep call to wake up, to realize that this life we are living, with all its glitter, its noise, its distractions, is only temporary, and that there is a much greater reality awaiting us, a reality that begins the moment the soul leaves the body. Allah speaks in this surah about those who mocked the message, those who denied the truth, those who thought that their wealth and their strength would save them. And then He shows us how easily He took their lives and how quickly their power disappeared. And this is a reminder that one day, every single one of us will face the same moment. No matter how strong you are, no matter how wealthy, no matter how famous, your soul will leave your body, and you will meet your Creator. And then Allah mentions resurrection, because some people laugh at the idea of being raised again after death. How can it be when our bones have turned to dust, when our bodies have disintegrated? And Allah responds with such clarity, the one who created you from nothing in the first place is surely able to bring you back again. If He can create life from a drop of fluid, if He can make plants grow out of dead earth, if He can send down rain to revive a barren land, then how can resurrection be difficult for Him? And in this surah, Allah paints vivid scenes of the day of judgment, when the trumpet will be blown and people will rush from their grave, when every soul will be gathered before Allah and they will be told, today you will not be wronged in the least. Your deeds are recorded, your actions are known. And the beauty of it is that this reminder is not meant to scare us into despair. It is meant to wake us into preparation, to give us hope, to make us realize that if we live with faith and sincerity, if we strive to do good, then the hereafter is not something to fear but something to long for, because paradise awaits, eternal peace awaits, the company of the righteous awaits. And so the reminder of the afterlife in Surah Yaseen is like a powerful mirror held before us, showing us that what we do today will echo forever in our tomorrow. My brothers and sisters, when we read Surah Yaseen and we come across the lessons from past nations, Allah is not merely telling us stories for entertainment or history lessons, rather He is showing us reflections of ourselves, warnings and reminders that what happened to them can happen to us if we follow the same path. Allah speaks of a town to which He sent messengers, not one but two, and when they were rejected, He strengthened them with a third. Yet the people persisted in their arrogance. They mocked the messengers, they accused them of bringing misfortune, they closed their hearts to guidance. And then from the farthest end of the city came a man, a simple believer, stood up with courage and said, "O my people, follow those who are calling you towards Allah." What did they do to him? They killed him. And what did Allah do? He honored him. He said, "Enter paradise," and the man wished his people knew the reward he was given. This powerful story shows us that the truth will never be silenced, even if an entire nation stands against it. And it shows us that sometimes it is the weakest, the least powerful in society who carry the strongest faith, while those with wealth, pride and status turn away. And the lesson for us is clear: how many nations before us rejected the truth, turned away from their prophets, laughed at the idea of accountability, and thought their palaces, their armies, their knowledge would save them. Yet Allah seized them in an instant, and today their ruins are reminders scattered across the earth. When you see the remnants of Pharaoh, the destroyed dwellings of the people of Thamud, the wiped out civilizations mentioned in the Qur'an, you realize that the world once thought they were unbeatable, but no one can overpower Allah. And Surah Yaseen is reminding us through these examples that if you live in arrogance, if you ignore the signs of Allah, if you belittle His message, then history will repeat itself, because arrogance leads only to destruction. But at the same time, the surah gives us hope, because just like that believer in the story who spoke the truth despite the odds, you too can be that person in your community. You too can stand for what is right, even if everyone laughs at you, because Allah does not look at numbers or status. He looks at sincerity, and He grants honor to those who remain steadfast. My brothers and sisters, when we go through Surah Yaseen and we see how Allah draws our attention to the signs in creation, it is as though Allah is saying, open your eyes, look around you, reflect, because the evidence of His existence, His mercy is everywhere. You do not need to climb a mountain of philosophy or dig through books of science to recognize your Creator. Simply look at the sun rising every morning and setting every evening with such perfect precision. Look at the moon as it waxes and wanes in phase, marking time for us, guiding us through the months. Look at the alternation of the night and the day, how one covers the other and how balance is maintained. If this was man-made, it would have collapsed long ago, but it runs with perfection, because it is Allah who sustains. And then think about the earth itself, how it brings forth vegetation, how water comes down from the sky and revives dead land, how from a tiny seed Allah brings fruits of different tastes, colors and benefits, and yet they all drink from the same water and grow in the same soil. Who designed this system, who gave it such beauty and variety? Then look at yourself, your body, your heartbeat, your breathing, your intellect, your emotions, your ability to see, hear and think. How often do we take these for granted? But every single one is a sign of Allah's. And in Surah Yaseen, Allah reminds us that all of these are not random accidents, they are not coincidences, they are deliberate signs placed for those who wish to reflect, so that when we see them, our hearts turn towards the one who created that. But the problem is that many people pass by these signs every single day, yet their hearts remain blind. They enjoy the fruits, but forget the giver. They live under the sky, but ignore the creator of the sky. They benefit from the night and day, but fail to recognize the one who alternates. And that is why this surah emphasizes these signs, because if you truly ponder over them, you will find your faith growing stronger. You will realize that you are not here without purpose, that the world around you is like an open book of reminders. Every leaf, every drop of water, every star in the sky is telling you, O human being, you have a Lord. Turn back to Him before it is too late. My brothers and sisters, when we hear that Surah Yaseen is a source of mercy and intercession, it should immediately make us realize that this surah is not just a recitation, on our tongue, but a healing, a comfort, a companion that carries with it the mercy of Allah. And that mercy is not limited to one situation, rather it flows in different moments of our lives. It is reported that this surah brings ease to the dying, it soothes the hearts of those in distress, it opens doors of blessings for those who connect with it sincerely, because the words of Allah are not like the words of man, they are filled with light and healing. And this surah in particular has been mentioned by the Prophet as having a special role in intercession, that it will come on the day of judgment pleading for the one who recited it, standing as a witness of faith. And we know that on that day, when even our parents and loved ones will flee from us, when everyone will be concerned about their own deed, to have a surah of the Qur'an interceding on our behalf is one of the greatest gifts of Allah's mercy. But the key, my brothers and sisters, is not to treat Surah Yaseen as a ritual that is recited without thought. It is not about rushing through the words mechanically. It is about reciting it with understanding, with humility, with love for Allah, and with the intention of living by its message. Because mercy is unlocked when the heart connects with the words, and intercession is earned when the surah is part of your life, not just part of your lips. That's why when people recite Surah Yaseen for their loved ones who are ill or who have passed away, there is a sense of peace that descends, because these words are filled with rahmah. And when you recite it for yourself, you feel your heart soften, your eyes tear up, your burdens earn. That is Allah's mercy manifesting through His words. So imagine then on the day of judgment, when people are desperate for a single good deed, Surah Yaseen comes forward and says, "Oh Allah, this person recited me, this person carried me in his heart, this person turned to you through me, and by Allah's permission, it intercedes." And that intercession can be the difference between fear and safety, between punishment and forgiveness, between despair and eternal happiness. My beloved brothers and sisters, as we conclude these reminders from Surah Yaseen, let us take a moment to reflect. This surah is not just a chapter we recite when someone passes away. It is a chapter of life, a chapter of awakening. It reminds us of the power of Allah. It revives our faith in the hereafter. It teaches us through the stories of past nations. It shows us the signs of Allah all around us, and it promises mercy and intercession for those who hold it close. So the real question we must ask ourselves, are we merely reciting it for reward, or are we allowing it to change our hearts, to transform our life? Because if we embrace its message, it becomes a source of light in this world and in the next. My brothers and sisters, I make a sincere dua that Allah softens our hearts through Surah Yaseen, that He makes it a companion for us in our graves, a light on the day of judgment, and a key to paradise. May Allah grant you and your families goodness, happiness, mercy and protection. May He bless you with steadfastness and peace. And may every step you take towards His book be filled with barakah. Thank you for taking the time to listen. May Allah reward you abundantly. Keep smiling, keep preparing for the day you return to Him, and good luck in your journey of faith. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.